Pluto's in Capricorn, so it's, it's all, Pluto in Capricorn is about ascent, and it's about, in its most raw, brutal, unrefined expression, it is really the most egregious climb to the top that's possible. Pluto in Capricorn is just a fucking mad power grab, and that's what we're seeing in the financial industry, right? I mean,
the 1%,
is Pluto in Capricorn.
Right.
Bar none, the government in collusion with these multinational corporations and roving gangs of economic money houses and hedge funds. That's Pluto in Capricorn. That's the most egregious aspect of it. There are also other aspects of it, and the other aspects are we're looking intimately at power. Wherever Pluto in Capricorn is in your chart, I mean, you're dealing with power, issues of power. How does it affect you? Where does it line up? Where do you feel disempowered? How can you get more of it? I mean, this is really the dance.
I have my Mars there too at 12 Capricorn, so it's about to transit my Mars.
So Pluto and Mars, I got to tell you, that is a very intense transit. And
great.
It is not insignificant. And I feel like a Pluto Mars transit in Capricorn is twofold. Because number one, if you've got Mars in Capricorn, it's exalted, right? So theoretically, you could have a very dynamic, very profound, and very empowering Mars transit. The flip side of that is that the run up to Pluto and Capricorn in Mars, I feel like you'll be tested. You're going to be tested along the way, where people will challenge you. People will try to usurp your personal power. People will a potential pitfall for you would be something like, okay, hey, Linda, you want a place to live? I got a great place for you to live. But then there's all these things.
But here's the other shoe dropping.
Yeah, like Linda, can you give me a blowjob when I wake up in the morning or something like that? That would be very Pluto, strings attached. On one hand, you're like, and maybe it's not that egregious. Maybe it's even more subtle. Maybe it's more psychological. But generally speaking, with Pluto, it's pretty. It's pretty pronounced.
I recently because I work in people's homes, so that's Mars in the 4th house, and I work at home at wherever I'm living. But I recently had an experience of being abused, verbally abused, in someone's home working for them, and I called her on it. I said, oh, do you always get abusive when you drink coffee? And I was not invited back. And I'm thinking, okay, no problem.
Well, okay, so let's use that as kind of a jumping off point, right? What you were doing in that moment is you were saying to yourself, here's a person that theoretically is trying to steal my power.
Right.
They're using their position, they're lording themselves over me in a very hierarchical fashion, which is very Capricornian, right? And if Pluto is squaring your ascendant, normally Libra on the ascendant is very, very diplomatic.
Right.
And may just gloss over that just to be harmonious. But here you've got the square dynamic going on, so you basically are saying, hey, are you always a bitch when you drink too much coffee? I mean, that's kind of what you're saying. Now, was it important for you to do that? I'd say on some level, yes, because at least you're putting the brakes on somebody being abusive to you. I think we need to do more of that in our lives.
Yes.
Now, would there have been another way for you to do that? Possibly. And that's the challenge of that square. And it's up to you to figure out how to have the language so that you could use that moment as kind of a teaching moment, You can get what you need out of that moment and still have the account or still have the contract.
Yeah. Good idea. Thank you. I appreciate that. I actually am glad not to go back, but I hear what you're saying. And if you don't mind, let me just double the ante here because I have Saturn exactly on my ascendant. So it's like that's Capricorn too.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So it seems to be a time in my life of taking my power, of claiming my power, and I really appreciate you pointing that out. Rather than being at effect, I want to be at cause and claim my power rather than be overpowered. I guess that's what you're saying.
Absolutely. And, power, I think there are two things that people have the hardest time dealing with in this lifetime as a human experience, power and anger.
Yeah.
Power and anger. Most people are not in touch with, and the two are linked too, by the way. They're inextricably linked because what happens is that if you are in a ongoing cycle and pattern of giving your power away, right? What happens? You get angry.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can't express your anger clearly and cleanly, then what happens? Then your wiring is all screwed up, and you can't tap into your power in order to diffuse these events in your life, and therefore back off the anger a little bit. And a lot of people are so jammed up around anger that they have a really fouled up relationship with power at the same time.
Interesting, yeah, because my liver is all backed up, and that's a general malaise in the world. It's your liver, right? And
Absolutely.
that's where your anger is. That's the seat of your anger is your liver.
That's right. Absolutely. And by the way, very close to the kidneys. Kidneys, of course, being Libra with your ascendant and with Saturn. So, look, I got to give you some props, Linda, because these are really challenging life lessons that you're going through, and because you're a Sag, you've got a great attitude around it. And at 61, I think a lot of us think that that we're done. This should be the time where, we're sitting on our porch and we're drinking, Long Island teas, iced teas, and, kicking back and thinking about the good old days. And, but this is not the world we're living in now. No. And for you to be as proactive and positive with these challenging aspects at this time, it says a lot about you. And I want to give you some props for that.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I really like your show a lot.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And, I would say, that the closer Pluto gets to your Mars, the more intense this is going to be. But I think ultimately, the more you'll be able to reclaim your personal power. And the Pluto-Mars conjunction, I think, is going to be one of the most profound moments of your life.
Wow.
And I think you will. I think it will be one of these moments that will be a significant turning point for you. Oh. Very significant turning point. And I will say that there will be some risk involved with this because it's a very explosive energy. But I do believe with that Mars in Capricorn, that's really, I think, a very it's in your favor. It's a benefic in your favor, which means that you have the ability to transform the experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, my Mars has served me well, I must say. It's true.
So your Mars is right on top of my Saturn. I've got Saturn at 11 degrees Capricorn.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So as you're going through your Pluto-Mars conjunction, I'll be going through my Pluto-Saturn conjunction. Maybe we can compare notes.
Yeah. I'd like to hear about that.
Well, hopefully by this time next year we'll be able to talk more about it because that's kind of when it starts to line up. So, all right, Linda, I'm going to send you back.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your words. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Great show.
God bless you and happy birthday.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Linda up in Vancouver. Let's see. Let's go to the 206 line. Let's find out who they are, where they're calling from, what they want to talk about. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, it's Holly from Seattle. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, Holly. It's a Pacific Northwest day. How are you doing?
Good. It's raining.
So I lived in Seattle for a year of my life, and I went through my Saturn return in Seattle. Let me tell you, man, it was an intense place to go through my Saturn return. That winter in Seattle in 89, 90, coldest, loneliest winter I've ever experienced. And then I hightailed it out of Seattle and I went to Olympia, and I spent about 2 years in Olympia, which I really enjoyed, by the way. So
so pretty.
So what's on your mind today, Holly?
You just want like a question or just my birthday? I forget how you do this.
Do you want me to look at your chart and is there an aspect that you want me to kind of delve into a little bit?
Well, I'm kind of a stay-at-home mom right now, or stepmom, but I'm feeling guilty. Should I be working, or is it okay to stay home and take care of these kids? You know what I mean?
Well, okay. First of all, I would say, eradicate your guilt. Just put that aside. Guilt doesn't serve anybody, really. And I think there's conscience, and then there's guilt. And I think that these things are very, very different, right? Guilt can be something that can be imposed upon us by outside forces. A conscience is
like
something
my husband.
Okay, there you go. Does he want you to go out and get a job?
Yes and no.
Okay.
He's just more concerned about the money.
So it's a financial.
He does like that. Go ahead.
It's a financial thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's pretty greedy with his money.
Pretty
I can
greedy
be totally
with his money.
honest. He
Okay.
is.
What's his sign?
He is 9/11/72 Virgo.
9/11/72 Virgo. Okay, so, all right. And what's your birthday? Let's look at your solar charter. When's your birthday?
10/25/64. Scorpio under the ground.
Okay, 10/25/64. So you're a Scorpio dragon.
Yeah, and pretty mean, huh?
No way, man. And he's a Virgo rat, right?
Yeah, he's a rat.
70. He's born in 72.
Yeah.
Okay, so 64. So rats and dragons get along very well, by the way. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And Virgo and Scorpio is not a bad combo either.
Yeah, I know that one too.
All right, looking at your chart. So I think you have. God, I think you have Moon in Cancer, don't you?
Well, I don't know that stuff.
Yeah, you've got Moon in Cancer. See, if you've got Moon in Cancer, I'd stay home.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Look, if you had Moon in Gemini, which you're just on the other side of Gemini, if you had Moon in Gemini, I would say that you could maybe work out of the home. That would be possible. Moon in Gemini, but look, let's be blatantly capitalistic for a moment, okay? Let's say let me ask you a few questions.
Sure.
Do you make dinner for your husband?
It's gonna sound bad, but no.
Okay.
He's Mexican, and he doesn't like what I cook, so he comes home and cooks meat and burns it, because that's like they like it burnt.
No, I know. They like it like leather. I understand that. Yeah.
I don't eat that. I'm very white. I like rare.
Okay. All right. So let's.
So no, I cook for the kids, and he cooks his own burnt meat.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We have dietary differences. That's fine. So, all right, but you do cook for the kids.
Yeah.